right, Colin wrong.
Where Colin was right?
Well, when J.J. Watt a couple of weeks ago said he didn't know about his future in Houston, I said he's a perfect Packer. And the story this morning, second best Las Vegas odds, the Green Bay Packers to land J.J. Watt. He's from Wisconsin. He's got his money. He's a first ballot lock Hall of Famer. Question is, J.J., do you want to win games? This is where you should go. He's got a Packer personality. It's a perfect fit. The Packers only really pay big boy money to Aaron Rodgers and David Bakhtiari. And from what I read this morning, they are restructuring or have restructured Bakhtiari's contract. So there's a place to get him in. We felt this was the landing spot. And what do you know, a week later, that's the reports.
Where Colin was wrong.
Bruce Arians won a Super Bowl, and I said I thought he had a very so-so regular season with Brady. I thought they stuck to that pass over the top offense too long, and I also said I felt in the playoffs he was the coach on the hot seat. It was just a year in which I didn't feel he had it all buttoned up, but I'll give him a lot of credit. In 4 total playoff games, they averaged only 4 penalties a game. And some of the biggest mistakes, like Brady interceptions at Lambeau, are things he could not control. I thought they outcoached Kansas City in the Super Bowl. I thought it was a win not just for personnel in the front office and Brady, but a win for coaching, and Bruce Arians deserves that credit.
Where Colin was right.
Josh Allen finished ahead of Patrick Mahomes a week ago in MVP votes. Now, he didn't win it, but I was on this all year. If you go to the last 5 games of the regular season, a third of the season, the last 5 weeks, Josh Allen wasn't just sort of better than Patrick Mahomes. It wasn't close. He had 15 TDs, 2 picks, 70% completion percentage, and 117.5 passer rating. He was a dominant quarterback over the last 5 weeks of the regular season, and Mahomes, frankly, struggled down the stretch often.
Where Colin was wrong.
I never thought Russell Wilson would be one of the most outspoken quarterbacks in the league, but last week when I was off, he did intimate to Dan Patrick he would like to have some personnel say. He was outspoken. It was not status quo. For the record, I was critical of Andrew Luck too often taking the company road. I do think it's important from time to time for the star quarterback to say, hey, let's go get this guy. And as Albert Breer just pointed out in the Super Bowl, it was all those Brady guys scoring the touchdown. So it surprised me. I'm glad to be wrong. I think Russell Wilson has earned the right to a strong voice.
Where Colin was right.
We're going to take one final credit for Tom Brady. There were a lot of people that thought he was a shot fighter. A lot of people thought he would struggle. We made 2 big predictions. We said New England is going to be a non-factor and irrelevant. They were sub 500. And we said Brady's going to get to the playoffs and win a playoff game 1 minimum, and he did. Now, I didn't think they'd win the Super Bowl, but there were a lot of critics on Brady, and I always went back to the same thing. When I watched him throw the football, I still think he has a top 7, 8 arm in the NFL. In fact, I think he has one of the better bad weather arms. It's his torque, it's his hips. But, yeah, I listen, there are things with age. He clearly doesn't want to get hit as much. He throws more balls up for grabs. He needs to be on platform. He needs better protection now than he probably needed 7 or 8 years ago. But I never bought into a shot fighter. I still think he throws a beautiful, accurate football, sometimes, in fact, with too much zip.
Where Colin was wrong.
Lamelo Ball is not only surviving, he's the best rookie so far by a mile. Since Charlotte named him a starter, he's averaging 21 a game. And they're actually right now would be a playoff team. When I saw him, I thought his game was a lot of flash and not a ton of substance. But I will say this, of the Ball brothers, he can actually shoot. He brings much-needed energy and juice to the franchise. And listen, he's averaging over 20 a game as a starter. He plays with a ton of confidence. He's obviously great off the dribble. He's a great ball handler and passer. But I was wrong.
Where Colin was right.
Justin Herbert won Rookie of the Year. I didn't get all the critics. I understood people who thought, at Oregon, he can be a little mechanical, but after he won the Rose Bowl and was easily the best player on the field against an excellent Wisconsin defense, I said, folks, What are we doubting? He's big, strong, 4-point student, smart and mobile with a huge arm. I don't get all the critics. I don't get it. Plus, I had 2 people at the Senior Bowl tell me he was head and shoulders better than anybody else on the field. He set a rookie touchdown pass record, and he finished the season strongly. And this is one of the things I like about him. You know, one of the criticisms of Lamar Jackson is he's kind of fresh and new and you haven't defended him, but you can figure Lamar out. Fair or not, that's a criticism. You can kind of figure him out. Justin Herbert got better with a coach that got fired. He was 4-0 down the stretch, 8 touchdowns, 1 pick. Every week he got better, finished stronger than he started.
Where Colin was wrong.
New rule, I hate backward hats, but apparently now you're allowed to wear one if you win your 7th Lombardi trophy. Listen, I think it's the worst look for a professional athlete. It really looks like a frat boy, but Brady wore it. Now, in fairness, Brady was a couple of beers in and appeared to be drunk, so his judgment was completely lapsed. This was not a great moment of judgment and clarity for Tom Brady. But new rule, if you win a 7th Lombardi trophy, I'm not going to call you out.
Where Colin was right?
You know who suddenly is red hot in the NBA? Let me think. Oh, the team Chris Paul is on. The Suns have won 6 straight, 9 of 10, and it's the same team as last year that was mostly lousy before the bubble. It's Chris Paul and a bunch of kids. He is the most underrated point guard ever. He's the most underrated NBA player in a decade. He's the anti-Westbrook. He wins everywhere. He's got no flash. There's no sizzle. His best friend isn't the basketball. He actually communicates at a level that's about as high as NBA stars do. He holds people accountable, but for some reason, because he shoots too many mid-range jumper and he's not flashy, there's something about Chris Paul that just people can't get their arms around. We like our point guards to be magic and flashy, but he and John Stockton win games, make everybody better, and it's amazing. Remember, Oklahoma City was tanking. He got them to the playoffs. Phoenix has been lousy for 8 years with all these same guys. Now suddenly they've won 9 of 10 in the West. Chris Paul. I don't care if you buy his shoes or not. This guy is what point guard should be. Tough, verbal, intense, elevates others, and shoots a great mid-range jumper.
Where Colin was right?
Been saying this now for 3 years. Trevor Bauer chose the Dodgers over a New York team. Matt Stafford said, give me Los Angeles over the Patriots. Something is happening in sports over the last 3 years where players are choosing this high-taxed maven, this high-taxed zip code, Los Angeles County, and they're choosing it over winning franchise in other big cities. Trevor Bauer could have chosen a lot of teams, and he chose the Dodgers, a stacked pitching staff, where he'll be good, but they've also got Walker Buehler, Rio, Clayton Kershaw, David Price. They've already got arms everywhere. They've got stars everywhere. Matt Stafford, I'll take the Rams. Multiple teams were offered. So there is a migration to Los Angeles right now. We know that sports and entertainment have converged. I think a lot of this goes back to people saw LeBron James move to Los Angeles and get movie deals and TV deals and production setups, and other athletes think, hey, I can pay more in taxes, but I'll make 4 times the money eventually because I can build things here post-retirement. I think there's a LeBron effect here. LeBron has set up so many ancillary businesses, it's highly attractive to high-profile star athletes. Trevor Bauer's a Dodger. That team, look, the Dodgers right now pitching staff is an all-star pitching staff. Forget their lineup. It doesn't have a chance to be the best baseball team in 10, 15 years. All right. Trent Dilfer's around the corner. Rick